Okay, so let's start with our session, guys. Okay, so in today's session, we'll be discussing about security controls, their authentication controls, okay, authentication factor. We'll be discussing about your authentication design as well, multi-factor authentication, your attributes of an authentication, what are your different biometrics you can use it. Okay, and apart from that, we will be exploring some of the Linux command inside your Kali machine. Okay, cool. So let's get started. The very first topic is we'll be discussing about understanding authentication control. Okay, now authentication is what? It is a process by which system verifies the identity of an user who wishes to access the system, isn't it? Now, inside this, what do we have? Now, when I'm talking about authentication control, this has been implemented by your IAM team. Okay, incident and access management. Okay, now when I'm talking about identity and access management, incident and access management, particularly in authentication, so what this thing has been doing? Okay, so we are providing an access control to the system, which is particularly you can say a technical control. Okay, now that is given to whom? That is given to your user or to your devices or to your software. Okay, and why they are given? To interact with the network or to the server or to the database or to the files, isn't it? Correct. Now, when we are talking about identity and access management, usually it is described into this four part: identification, authentication, authorization, and accounting. Now, what we generally do in an identification, we are creating an account or ID which is uniquely representing the user. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just creating an account or an ID which is uniquely presenting the user or the device or the process over the network. Correct. Now, in authentication, what we do, we provide the user that what they can claim for. Correct. When that where they can particularly access the resources. Okay. Now, in authorization, what we do? Okay. Over here, we are particularly talking about your design of the concept. Yes, it's an privilege. It's a right. Okay. We are determining the right, what the user should have, what each resources should have. Correct. Now, in accounting, what we do, we track all the records, all the authorized usage, particularly of the resources. Okay. And we also generate an alert from that either that unauthorized user is been detected or through a multiple login attempt. Okay. So these are certainly your concepts of your identity and access management. Okay. Now, next we have are the factors of it. Authentication factor. Something you know authentication, something you have, something you are or do authentication. So something you know authentication, what it does, it's typically factor you can say a login or a username and password you will be providing over there. Correct. Typically, when we are talking about a username, they are not a secret. But it's not like that you should be publishing it openly, right? But when we are talking about a password, it must be known only to an account holder. Okay, or we can also call it as a pin as well. That is also holding to an account user. So this is what something you know. Okay, something you have. What do you have? To use this, we require something. What do we have? We have an access card. Okay. Apart from that, what do we have? That particular account holder will be holding something to operate this. Correct? Your SIM card, your wristband, which has been programmed for uniquely identifying the particular certificate of the account holder, all the biometric factors,
Yeah.
or either your psychological identifier like your fingerprint, behavioral identifier. Authentication design is what? They are referring particularly to meet the requirement of your confidentiality, integrity, and availability. They are maintaining your CIA DREAD. Okay, confidentiality in term of an authentication, it is very much critical because what if an account credentials are been leaked? Or else you can say that actor can impersonate that particular account. Now, that particular account or the system, whatever the rights you will be having, are been leaking with the confidentiality, are not maintaining the confidentiality. Isn't it? And what about integrity? That your account mechanism is reliable or not very easy, particularly for the threat actor, right? They can bypass it with the tricks. They can collect all the credentials, isn't it? So that's the reason we are maintaining this. You have confidentiality, integrity, and availability by this accounting factor. In availability, what do? We give the time to authenticate that particular account. Correct. For example, let's say if I want to use a web server and I'm using a credential to access this particular web server now, attacker have an access to my system. Okay, now he has some details about me. Okay, now he don't know what are the credentials of this particular website. He will try and attempt over here. First, he will go with an default ID and password. Okay, after that, he will try some more password. Down the line, after 3 attempts, definitely there will be an alert which will be created. Okay, and if he is not having that particular password, he is not very much successful to get inside that particular web application. So what he will be doing? He will be simply performing an DOS attack, sending multiple files over there so that he can bring out that particular web page. Next, what we have in your factors is your multi-factor authentication. What are the factors we use? Okay, so let's discuss. Let's see what are there inside your multi-factor authentication. Okay, now when we are talking about an authentication is what? It is a technology to create or to consider a strong or a combination of multiple knowledge or an ownership or your biometric factor. Okay, so what do we have? We have a single factor, we have a two factor, and we have a multi-factor, isn't it? Okay, now in single factor, what do we have? Simply we are going with a single password. Okay, now that particular password cannot be shared, or that particular SIM card, if that particular SIM card has been stolen, who is holding one particular password can lead to an high error, isn't it? Can also relate to an spoofing as well. So what we have done, we had started using two-factor and multi-factor authentication. In two-factor authentication, we have a combination of your PIN and your password, or your biometrics, you can say. Okay, so how that has been done? For example, if you are using if you are using any particular this official account or your Gmail account, so if you have kept your two-factor authentication, if you are trying to access that account through your mobile phone or through your laptop, so first it will be asking for a password. Second, you will receive a PIN from your registered mobile number, isn't it? Okay, you will be giving your PIN as an input, and you are logged in inside that particular application. Now, in three-factor authentication or in multi-factor authentication, what do we have? We have a password, a PIN, and also we can use a biometric, or we can use a geolocation as well. Okay, so we will be using all the combination. First, it will be asking for an biometric or then geolocation. After that, we'll be providing a password, and after that, we'll be providing a PIN. Okay, so it's an highly recommended go with an two-factor or go with an multi-factor authentication. Okay, so set all this application which is holding some of your critical data set with an multi-factor authentication. Next we have is your attributes of an authentication. Okay, so what are the attributes? Something you are authentication, something you can do authentication, something you exhibit authentication. So what are these factors and why do we use? Okay, so we use to compare the three main authentication factors. Okay, for that attribute is an either uniquely properly used, or that particular factor cannot be used independently. So what we do, we use these attributes. Somewhere you are. Okay, over here, what do? We go with a location based authentication. Your geographical location base. It will be measuring your device location, or it could be used, it could be your IP location as well. Okay, so in many organizations, when we are working from a home, particularly they have been asking from which particular location you will be operating this application. Okay, so we have to give them a particular pin code or that particular area or that particular city name. And why we do that in security, particularly in security? By any chance, on second day, let's say if someone is trying to access from another country, straight away the ID get blocked. Okay, next what we have, something you can do authentication. Okay, so this checks your behavioral characteristic, like how do you walk, how you hold your phone. Okay, how uniquely it's been identified. Although these factors are impractical to use this particular primary authentication, but it can be used on a contextual, or you can say continual authentication. Okay, totally depend on the device to device, what particular operation they have been using on, but this is very rarely used. Okay, but something you exhibit, this has been used majorly. Again, it's an behavioral this based authentication. Okay, simply for an example, if we are using smartphone, inside that smartphone we have multiple app. Okay, and we are also using web browsers now. Let's say I want to shop for particularly foreign shoes. Okay, so what I will be doing, I will be opening some of the app. From there, I will try to hover around what are the new shoes has been arrived. I am looking on, and after that, if I open any particular social media website, or if I open any particular YouTube video, over there it is giving me an advertise or a suggestion of all this. Okay, now that is what your something you exhibit is. My phone is been tracing my behavioral based authentication. That's what particular application I have been using. Okay, and all this thing is been captured by your machine learning analysis. Okay, they are tracking your pattern, how you are locking your devices, what particular application you have been using. Okay, so this is what your something your exhibit authentication is. Now, next what we have is here Windows authentication. Okay, now inside in Windows we have multiple authentication factors. Windows local sign-in, Windows network sign-in, remote authentication, and single sign-on. Okay. Now, in Windows local sign-in, what we do, we generally go by your comparison of your submitting your credential, like your. Okay. Now, this is your file where your password has been stored inside your machine, inside your Windows machine. Okay, so when we are logging into our machine, all my password has been stored in an hash, converted in a hash, and it's been stored inside your SAM folder. If you want to check where your SAM folder is, just hover it into your C drive, inside that Windows, inside that system 32. Over there, you will find a SAM file. Okay. Now, Windows local sign-in is what? It is comparing, or it is submitting your credential into an hash stored. And where it has been stored? Inside your security account manager, that is your SAM. Okay. Next, what we have is your Windows network sign-in. Okay. Now, Windows network sign-in is what? The credential for authentication you provide in your network service. Okay. For particularly to prefer your network authentication. Okay, but what we are doing over here, we are simply legacy network application that is under your NLAN manager. Okay, again, what we are using, we are using a single sign-on inside your Windows network sign-in, and that is gone by your Kerberos. Okay, next is your remote authentication. Now, this remote authentication is what? If the user is not connected to your local network. Okay, so over there, what he can use? He can use a virtual private network, VPN, to tunnel inside an organization network or into a web portal. Okay, next is what is your single sign-on. Okay, single sign-on is what? It only allows user to authenticate once. Okay, the best example over here is your mobile phone. Particularly for a mobile phone, we use a fingerprint or your face recognition scanner, correct? And after that, we can use all the application. Okay, what if inside that mobile phone, all the application required some credential to operate? If I'm using 30 application and all the 30 application are been locked with your fingerprint, and if and by default it has been coming with your phone. Okay, and if I want to access one application, I am accessing, I am giving him a credential. After that, I want to access another application. I'm logging out from this particular application and logging in into this particular application and go on. Okay. This will be a tough challenge for me to operate, isn't it? So what we have started using is your single sign-on. Simply, we will be signing on our device for one time, and after that, we can access all the application or all the particular application that inside that particular server as well with one credential, which has been authenticating. Okay, so that is what your single sign-on is. Biometric authentication. Okay, now this biometric authentication, again, it's a mechanism which is allowing user to access their account, but on a psychological feature. That is your fingerprint, iris pattern, instance, or your behavioral pattern. What are those? Fingerprint recognition, facial recognition, and your retina scanner. Okay, now this fingerprint, we widely use this. It has been implemented in your biometric authentication method. Okay, this technology only requires particularly the scan, or it has been recording your fingerprint. Okay, and this is very much less expensive as compared to others. Okay, in many organizations, your fingerprint recognition scanner is been implemented. Okay, next is your facial recognition. Again, it takes multiple indication like the size, your shape of the face. Okay, it checks the distance between both the eyes, the width of the length. Okay, length and width of your nose. Initially, it is recording all the pattern. It is optimizing your light condition as well, depending on the technology, that which particular technology we are using on. Okay, and it's a bit, let's say for the user, it's a bit uncomfortable for them, particularly to use this facial recognition. Okay, so moreover, we don't use this much in an organization, particularly to get inside or go outside for an organization. So if we want to deploy this, we have been deploying into an high-end premises, but not into an local premises. Okay, next we have is your retina scanner. Again, this goes by your infrared. Okay, it checks your eye identity. It checks the pattern of your blood vessels. It arranges all the blood vessels with a high complexity. Okay, now this particular retina scan does not change by the birth or by the death. Okay, let's say if that particular user is been going through certain diseases or certain injury, then also this retina scanner will not work. Okay, this is one of the most accurate biometric scanning. Next we have is your background check. Background check, your onboarding policies. Again, this comes under your IAM, and we generally in a security team, let's say people, that particular user or that particular candidate has been hired for a red team or a VAPD team. Now, this background check will be very much mandatory. Moreover, this is mandatory in many organizations for each and every profile, but particularly in that team and into an this security team, this is very much mandate option. Okay, and why it is done so? That to check whether that employee is been working into an confidential environment or not. Okay, they will also check that particular candidate is been having any particular this, you can say, they will check for a criminal record as well. Either that uh, person has been undergone through any IT or any security act or any law or not. If that particular user has been is been conducted, any your attacks into an environment or not. Okay, they will check all this record, your security clearance. Okay, now this background check isn't mandatory. Some of the background check are being performed by your internally by your organization, or some of the this particular background check has been done by your externally by your third party. Okay, in recruitment, what we do, we generally check for the location of the selected person to that particular person is been working into a particular job role or not. We will check for a security issue as well. We will check for an this particular user is been screening to a candidate, is been performing a background check or not. So this has been done by your again admin and your HR team. Okay, and this policy is also implemented by your IAM. Your operational, again, this has been performed by your HR department to check what are the community policies of the training of the particular employees. Okay, either there is any critical devices and training thing or program to be communicated for this user, or is there any particular training to be given for this particular user, any security certification training additionally. Okay, next we have is your termination and separation. Now, particularly often termination, we can say it's an firing. Okay, and separation we can say, we can take an example of an retiring as well, or you can say particular into an another job profile. Okay, whether that particular employee leaves voluntarily or involuntarily. Termination again, it's a difficult process. It comes with your numerous security impacts in your organization. So it's not very much easy for an organization to go by this termination by in each quarter. Again, all the tracks have been checked over there. Security, transmission, credential, asset allocation, training policies. So in onboarding policy, what it has been given, your HR will be providing you welcome kit. Along with that, they will be providing you all the new supplies. They will be also providing you all the credentials. Correct. But when they will be providing you a credential, during that email or during that time, they will ask you to straight away reset the password. Isn't it? They will create your account and they will ask to reset this password. Why so? And many of time your HR will itself creating a password or your admin team itself creating a password. But they ask you to reset this password because it can be a chance certain privileges has been given to your account. What if any attacker or any your internal employee who can be a risk to an organization is been sniffing into this and have those credentials? He can misuse that particular user ID. Okay, that's the reason we go with the reset of the password. Yes, many of them were correct. Many a times system generated password have been converted, have been given into an hash format, which is very much difficult to remember. And after that, they asked us to change the password that we can create with certain this factors added to it. We can go with an uppercase, lowercase, along with the numeric and alphanumeric character. Okay, yes, that is also an factor, but major factor is this. Yes, to improve the confidentiality. Yes. Next, what we have is your asset allocation. Now, perfect. So they will be providing you And I said, along with that, they will be giving you some of the option as well. That is your bring your own device. Okay. Or else if particularly you are using your personal laptop as an official laptop, so they will be deploying some of the application into that. Correct. Totally depend on an organization to organization, what particular policies they have been using on. Okay. Then we have is your training policy. A budget has been given for each and every employee that during this financial year they can utilize this budget, they can upgrade themselves, because when we are talking about and security in day-to-day life, security is very much booming into a market, isn't it? Each day there is a new attack, each day there is a new hack. So we have to keep ourselves updated regarding to that. So for that, companies what have been doing, they are providing these policies or training policies to keep yourself updated. Okay, to get and security awareness, role event training as well, to get and secure this particular certification training as well. Okay, now let's discuss about some more policies. Okay, so there are particularly personal policies and your privilege management. Okay, so what are those? Separation of duties, least privilege, job rotation, and your mandatory vacation. Okay, now when we are talking about separation of duty, so let me give you my input over here. I can hear multiple voices, so I'm getting confused over here. So no worries. So in separation of duty, what we do, we generally separate the duties in a team. Every team will be having a different privilege. Okay, let's say inside a team we are having a team lead, and team lead is been reported to an CISO, and under that team lead there are certain this junior security team. Now each profile will be having some privileges, isn't it? So they can access as per their job profile. So no one will be having the same privileges. So what we are doing, we are simply breaking the task into small chunks so no one can misuse their power. Okay, so we provide certain privileges as per their job profile. Okay, now least privilege means the less privileges. Sufficient amount of privileges been given. These have been given all your new joiners, or you can say all the interns, that they cannot misuse, or either anything happen to their account, it cannot lead to a breach into an organization. Again, this goes with your designation as well, profile to profile, that what amount of privilege has been provided to that particular account or that particular employee. So either that particular user should be an high privilege, or we are providing him certain privileges so he can access the web servers, or that particular profile has been going with a least privilege. Only he can access the system and he has been using some of the application inside that system. Okay. Now, next what we have is your job rotation. That no person is permitted to remain on the same job. Okay, for example, you can say manager will be moved to a different department periodically. Correct. Employee may prefer to move into another job role. So what we are doing, we are simply switching them throughout the year. Rotational individual out of the role, isn't it? Again, you can say the job rotation as well to maintain the workflow of an organization. And you have seen particularly this job rotation majorly has been done inside your SOC team or your network security team. Okay, This profile are your 24/7 availability profile. There are multiple other profile as well, where you go with a 24/7 shift, and over there we require certain job rotations particularly. Okay, and we go by certain the list which has been given by the managers. Okay, now next we have is your mandatory vacation. Okay, so in this the employees are particularly forced to take the vacation, okay, to fulfill their duties. And why we are doing this? Now, each and every employee has certain budget to it, which has been provided by an organization. There are certain time limitation as well given by an organization when they provide this budget, that this each employee should work for this much of hour, so that audit should be very much precise as per their workflow. Okay, so for this to maintain the security flow, we provide a mandatory vacation as well. What if I am only allowed to work for 70 hours and I have been working for a 90 hours? This comes in your audit report. The login of an Abhishek for this month is of a 90 hours. Is there something serious issue for that particular manager? Okay, so what we have done, we had started using a biometric along with your Aadhaar card. Okay, so again, to stop this, it's an hard thing to go on, because already there is a database, and what the hacker has done, they are currently holding the access of the database, and all the details are being available in the black market. So we cannot particularly delete all the things. We cannot remove, take out particularly that thing. But what we can do, we can implement new security, or we can implement new protocols to this. Okay, to avoid such kind of failure. So what we had done, we had started using this factors of an authentication. We are coming with multiple security protocols along with this, because we have seen when this particular Aadhaar card has been launched, during that time they are taking a good advantage out of it. Okay, even the people are not holding the Aadhaar card, and this particular attacker has been having their Aadhaar cards. So we have started using this biometrics. We have started using some of the digitalization as well. Again, we had implemented this when we particularly want to purchase any SIM card. Again, over there we are providing our fingerprint scanner as well. So straight away we cannot purchase that SIM card. We are going with an other multiple factors of authentication over there. Next, what we have is your administrator and your root account. If you are in super user, you can create an account and you can assign him certain privileges. You can give him particular job role. You can share more account as well. Okay, so these are certainly your generic prohibition. So that means the activity that particular admin has been doing can be audited. Okay, now we have one more thing over here. Inside your Windows machine, we call it as an administrative account, and inside your this Linux machine, we call it as a root account. Again, this is also one thing we have been calling on. Okay, and I can also provide certain privileges to other account as well. Let's say if I want to give and this root privileges to other account, I can do that too from a Linux machine as well. Let me show you that first. Okay, if you remember inside your Windows machine where your password has been stored. So in this etc, we have a folder file by the name password as well. Now, first let me show you. What do you think out of this? Are this your password? So in Linux, there is a file by the name passwd. Inside this file, all the users' name have been stored. All the password has been stored into your hash. So let me create a new user and let me give him certain privileges. Let me show you that first. So let's keep this aside as of now. Okay. First, let's complete our basic understanding of all these protocols and then we'll deep dive into that. Okay. Now, second one is your default security group. So what we do inside this? Let's say uh, there are 50 employees in an organization. Okay, now which will be the better? If I am into an admin team, I will be creating a group and will be managing them and will be providing a certain privileges, or I am giving the privileges for each and every user. Right. So what we will be doing, we will be creating certain default security groups. So what we are doing, let's say there are 50 employees, 20 employees have been working into an VA team, 20 employees have been working into your SOC team. Okay. 5 employees have been working in an HR team and 5 employees are inside your accounts team. Okay. Now each and every employee will be having certain privileges to their account. So what I will be doing, I will be adding those employees in this group and will be assigning the privileges to this whole group. Straight away, we'll be going with this as well. Straight away, we'll be going with this as well. So this account is holding read, write, and executable permission. This account is only having an read and write, and this account is been holding only a fund read, and this account is not holding any privileges. Okay, so again, if I'm going with an each and every individual and will be assigning certain privileges to their account, it will be a difficult task for me, for an organization as well, and for an auditor as well. So to maintain this thing, what we have done, we had started and we had started giving this group. So to balance all the thing, isn't it? Okay, now before exploring to the Linux command, let me also give you some overview of different policies as well. Okay, now when we are talking about this administrative and your root policies, there are particularly your default security group as well, and along with that there are your service accounts as well. So we can schedule any task with the help of a cron job. Okay, let's suppose if I received any particularly update task, yes. So what I can do, I can schedule that update during my non-working hour. I want that particular update to be run at the back end. Okay, now again, when we are accessing our this particular laptop or your system, are we running each and every services? No. Now these services are being run by your cron job. Inside your computer, just open your computer management. Inside your computer management, there is a service and management. So over there, you will see multiple services have been running. Your log report, your recovery report, your local system account report. Okay, so multiple services have been running, and how they have been using, they have been scheduled, they have been automated by your cron job. You just power on the machine and provided the credential, and all the services have been running at the back end. Okay, so this has been done by your cron job. They are your scheduled task. So what we are doing, we are simply going with an security. Okay, so in account attribute, what we do, we generally provide an attribute that particular how that particular account will be defined. Let's say I created one account by the name Abhishek. Okay, now how you will be telling the device that this is an unique user, because by the name of an Abhishek there are many persons in an organization. Okay, and we can do this inside your Linux as well. Okay, let's say I created a file, I can change the attribute of that particular file, that apart from this no one can read or no one can write it. Okay, let's say I created a new file by the name 321. Let's see. Okay, I created a text file by the name KWER. Okay, now I added some input inside it. Okay, and let me save this. Is my file has been created? Okay, let me check what is inside my file. Hello, how are you? Correct. Now let me check what are the attributes of this file. Okay, so this particular file is been holding a read write permission to an root, a read permission to another, and read permission to an group. Okay, now I want to change the attribute of this particular file. Okay, I don't want anyone to add into this. Now this particular file, can anyone can read this, can anyone can including the root account can read and edit this file. I don't want the root account as well to edit this file. So what I will be doing, I will be simply changing the attribute of this file. Okay, first let's check what is the current attribute of this file. So to check an attribute, I will be going with an okay. Okay, this is my file name. Now I want this file to be immutable. That means you cannot change what is there inside this file. Okay, so what I will be doing, I will be simply going with an attribute that is plus I. Okay, now no one can edit, no one can write inside this file. Can you see over here? File is unwritable. If I try to add into this and try to save this file, error, operation is not permitted. Okay, so simply what I have done, I had changed the attribute of this file inside an Linux. Same way I can do with an account as well. Same way I can do with an inside your this each and every profile as well. If I want to change this particular attribute of this file of that particular account as well, I will be going by this. Simply with one command, chattr, change the attribute of the file followed by plus I, that is your immutable, that no one can change this file, no one can change this profile, followed by the file name. Okay, now this thing a bit tricky to you all. First, let me also give you how I created a file and what are the command I had used. So we will be discussing each and everything. Okay, how to open this thing, how to change the editor, how to change your format of the file, how to read the format of the file. So we will be going through each and everything. Okay, so at least you will be having a basic understanding how your Linux environment has been running, or how that particular red team or your ethical hackers have been using this environment. What are the basic commands they have been using? Okay, this is how your Linux environment will look like. Okay, again, it's a good GUI based environment, and we can use multiple things over here. We can run any particular command along with this. Okay, so now to get a good idea about a command, let me go one by one. Okay, now whatever we have been doing inside this terminal. Okay, this is known as your terminal. Now, as of now, I am a normal user. Okay, if I want to perform any task, if I want to run anything, I should have certain privileges to my account. Okay, so from a normal user, I will be claiming for an root user. I will be escalating my privileges from a normal user to a root user. For that, what I will be doing, I will be simply going with an super user to, from a normal user to a root user. Now, it will be asking me a password of Encali. Can you see the color has been changed? Along with the color, what else has been changed over here? Before that, we are having a dollar sign. Now I am having a hash. That means I am a root user. Okay. Now, in Windows, we have folders, isn't it? These are the folders. Now, in Linux, we don't call them as a folder. So we call them a directory. We don't call them a folder. And that directory has been distributed by this slash sign. Can you see over here? Slash home, slash Kali. So now I am inside an Kali directory. Inside an home, there is a directory by the name Kali, and I am inside this directory. Okay. Now I want to check what is inside this directory. So what I will be doing, I will be simply going with a command ls
Yes.
list all the thing what is there inside it. So these are the files it's been storing inside my Kali directory. Okay. And if I go with this command, what is the difference? So this dot means that this file are hidden files. Okay. Now, if I go with ls-la, what this command will be doing for me? It is giving me each and every detail of that file. When this file has been created, on which day, on which date. Okay. What are the privileges of this particular file to all the users? Okay. So LA stands for long format. And we can also see read write permission over here. Now, can you see a difference over here? For this particular file, it is RWRR, and for this particular, it is DRWXR. Okay, so that means this is a directory. So wherever you see a D in starting it, that means that particular thing is your directory, and these are your files. Okay, and we can change this attribute. And how to do that? Down the line, we will be seeing that too as well. Over here, I can see a directory by the name and desktop. If I want to go inside this directory, so what I will be doing, I will be simply going with a command, change the directory to an desktop, followed by the name of that directory. Okay. If I want to see what is there inside this directory, ls, nothing is there. Now, if I want to go back, cd dot dot means one step back, and cd dot means in the same directory. It won't take you anywhere. Okay. And if you don't know in which directory you are, you will be simply going with an pwd, present working directory. It will give you this, the list in which directory you are in. Okay. And if you want to check which particular user you are in, who am I? Which user I am? A root user. Okay. Now, what if I want to create a new directory? For that, what I can do? Okay. So mkdir means make a directory. So the attribute of this file has been changed. That's the reason the color has been changed. So you will see the file with a different color, and you can simply figure it out what that particular file is. That is a file, or is that is a directory. Blue stands for directory, or that stands for the image. White stands for your text file. Okay. So let's get inside this directory. Okay. Now let's create some file, and let's change the file directory, this particular uh, access to that file. Okay, so first let's create a file inside this directory. So how can I create a file? Okay, so let's add something into this. Okay, I had given my input. Now I want to save and close this file. So to save and close this file, I will go with Control X. It will be asking me save the modification buffer, Y, and hit enter. Now someone has been saying the cat, right? So with an cat command, we can capture what is there inside that file. So show me what is there inside that file. There is one more way to create a file directory directly. Again, I'm a very much lazy person. I don't want to go on all this lengthy process. First, I have to create a file, then I have to create, open the editor, then I will be saving that file. It's a lengthy process for me, but I don't have that much time. I'm a very lazy person. Okay, so Nano will first check whether this file has been existed or not. If not, straight away, it will be creating a file and opening an editor for me. Okay, and if I want to remove this file, I will simply go with an RM command, remove. Okay, okay. So now I have two files at present inside this directory. Okay, now what I want to do, these two files are inside my Mahesh directory. I want to move this file from an Mahesh to an, let's say, to an desktop. Okay, so I will be going with a command. Yes, and where I want to save that file, /home/desktop. Let me go back. Okay, so I can copy a file as well. To copy a file, I will be going with a cp command. Okay, followed by the file name and where particularly I want to. Okay, so we were been discussing about an mv command. The best thing with an mv command is not only I can move the file, I can rename the file as well with an mv command. Okay, so simply I will be going with the mv command followed by the file name followed by the new file I want to rename that file. Let's say I want to rename the file by the name of this. Can you see the file name has been changed from an ABCDEF to an Abhishek? Okay, now I had created one particular directory, isn't it? Okay, and that directory was by the name of Mahesh. Now, if I want to delete this directory, what can I do? No matter what is there inside this file, straight away delete it. Is it deleted? Okay. And you guys have been aware, I was been showing you, I was been telling about in particular this permission. Okay. So this particular file has been having a permission of an read and write permission. Okay. Now there are three things over here. RW is assigned for user. R has been assigned for group, and the third one is for, this is a user that can be a root as well, that can be an any user. Over here it's a root user. Okay, this is for an group and this is for an other. Okay, and what particular this permissions I do have? I have write and which one?
Execute.
Execute. Okay, this user means your root. Okay, now we have an binary numbers given as well for this permission. For an write is an 2 and for an execute it's an 1. In total, how many do I have? Binary number I can use while changing the permission. Okay, now let's try this. Okay, so there is a file by the name 123.txt, or I had created recently, we had created a file, we renamed the file by the name of an Abhishek. It's inside and download. Okay, let's first get inside and download. I guess so it's in desktop. Okay, so this particular file has been having only read and write permission. Okay, now I want to give this particular file all the permission. Okay, and particularly I want to give this file only for an root user. Particularly I'm talking about an executable permission because right now it is holding an read write permission. I also want to give an executive. So for that I
Okay.
will be going with an +X. +X means your executable permission. Changing the moderator, chmod, change the moderation of the file and give me, and particularly give him an executable permission. So +X will be giving an executable permission. I want to give only all permission to an root user. So how I will be going through? All the permission to user and no permission to others, followed by the file name. Has it been changed? Isn't it? So, if you guys remember, we were been discussing about a default security, okay, default security groups, and in Linux, how we can change that particular security group. If I want to create new user, I want to give him all the privileges of a root, how to give that. So, let me show you how we can do that inside in Linux. Okay, first, what I will be doing, I will be simply adding a new user. Okay, let's say I want to add a user. So I will go with in command user add. Okay, followed by, okay, this is the username I want to add on. Hit enter. Not even here as well. It is only giving me only one user, that is Avankali. So from where I can see if my user has been added. Interact with you. Okay, no worries. So if you remember, we were been talking about a file by the name PASSWD and the file by the name of a shadow. Inside and shadow, your password has been stored, and inside and PSSWD, your user details have been stored. Correct. So what I will be doing, I will be simply going inside your PASSWD file. Okay. So my PASSWD file is inside my etc folder. If my user has been added. Yes. I had created a user and it's been added. Now, can you see 1006 over here? And if I scroll a bit up, in front of a root, there is a 0. Okay, so this is what, this is your username, this is your user ID. Okay, followed by your group ID. Okay, for a normal user, the user ID will always start with 1000. For a root user inside in Linux, the number will start with always PN0. And in Windows, this group ID will be start from 500. Okay, in Linux, your UID will be always in 0. In Windows, UID will start from 500, and in Linux, normal user UID will be from 1000. Okay, right now my masterclass user is a normal user. Okay, now from a normal user, I want to particularly escalate his privileges. I want to give him particularly all the root user privileges. So what I will be doing, I will be getting inside one folder. So there is a file by the name of an sudoers. Okay, let's search for that file. It will be somewhere around here only. Okay. Now this sudoers will be containing the username of an root, the privileges of an root. Okay. If you want to add any user and want to give him all the privileges, so you will be adding that user detail inside this sudoers. Okay. And if you want to see what is there inside the sudoers, can you see user privilege specification? Root user is having all the privileges and one user by the name of Suraj is having all the privileges. Okay. Now, which particular user I want to give all the privileges? What was my particular username? Isn't it? So what I will be doing, I will be simply adding that user over here. So let me remove this one. What all privileges I want to give? I want to assign him all the privileges. So we'll be going with the same command as above for en root. Okay. Now I have particularly added that user inside this list. Save it. It's done. Now check whether I had updated, whether my update has been successfully updated over there or not, whether my list has been updated or not. Can you see? That's been updated. Okay. Now let me check whether my account or whether my masterclass account is been get is has got all the privileges or not. Okay. Again, what I will be doing, I to clarify, to cross verify it, I will be go with an command sudo su. That means super user. Which particular super user? So let me mention that username super user masterclass. Now I am inside this masterclass. So let me check whether I am holding and root privileges or not. If I am holding a root privileges, it will be giving me the same masterclass name over here. Who am I? I'm in masterclass. Okay. Now make a note over here, guys. When I'm claiming for an super user, can you see over here? It is asking me a password. If I am raising for any particular privilege from a normal user to a root user, it is asking me a password over here. When I given him certain privileges, the master class, did I change my password or did I give it any password? No, isn't it?
No.
Yes. So now I want to change the password of this. My master class is having all the privileges, but if I claim for it, can you see it is asking me a password, but I haven't updated the password. I have not given the password. So what I will be doing, I will be going inside and root user, that is of Kali. From here, I will be setting a password. Okay. Sudo su. Now, to set a password, the command is passwd followed by the username.
Okay, can you see now it is giving me, it is asking me to set a certain password. Give a new password. Retype a new password. Password has been set, updated. Okay, already I am inside this. Now, now let me get inside it and let me check whether my password has been set or not. So what I will be doing, I will be simply going with a command, that is your su followed by masterclass. Okay, now I'm inside in masterclass. Let me check whether I'm holding all the privileges or not. Okay, so over here I will be going with a command sudo su again. Can you see? Who am I? I'm a root user. My master class is holding all the privileges now. So what I have done, first I created my new user. After that, what I've done, there is a folder by the name sudoers. Inside that sudoers, I had updated the list that which particular user I want to give him all the privileges. So simply add that user followed by all the permission. After that, check for that whether your master class user is been created or not. So what you will be doing, again you will be going with a sudo command, then followed by a master class. You will check which user you are in master class. Now one condition has been left over here. You haven't set a password for this particular master class. So what you will be doing, to set a password, you will be going with a command with an passwd followed by the user for which user you want to create a password. Okay, you will be setting a password, then go inside this master class, inside this user, and check whether you are holding all the privileges or not. So what I have done, I had simply escalated my privileges from a not normal user to a root user. Clear with this, isn't it? So let's discuss about an nmap and let's see what nmap can do and why this nmap has been very much useful tool for an pen tester and also for an hacker. Okay, now we can check what are the packet filters are there, what are the packet filter firewall are there. We can characterize it, and we can do multiple things with an nmap. Okay, now when we are talking about nmap is an utility. Okay, now what is different between tool and utility? Tool is what which you need to install. Utility is what which comes with your operating system, embedded with your operating system. Okay, so that is what nmap is. It's an utility. Now, Nmap will be giving you list of options. You can perform many things with an Nmap. Okay. Now, what Nmap is? Nmap is an open source, which is known as your network mappers. Okay, so Nmap use raw IP packet in different way to determine what hosts are available on the network, what services are there, what are the name of the services, what are the version of the service. Give you the host details as well, operating system as well, what they have been running, what are the packet filters, firewall are in use, and dozen of characteristics. Okay, so when we are talking about Nmap work in 5 steps. There are 5 steps for an Nmap often working. Okay, now let me tell you what are those steps. Now, at very first step, what Nmap do a ping sweep. Okay, now ping sweep is what? It does a DNS resolution. It will check from where this particular IP has been coming from. What is the domain of this IP? Okay, it also do a DNS lookup. Okay, now at first step, it perform a ping sweep. At second step, what it does, it looks for an DNS. Okay, so when I write over here, just in case, let's say google.com. Okay, first it will check whether my host is live or not. Along with that, it will perform a DNS lookup. Now in DNS lookup, it will look for an respective domain name. Okay, it will check for an IP of that particular domain. Okay, once it is been done, it will straight away give me the IP of that domain. If I want to check what is the IP of in Google, so simply go with an nmap command and go with the particular command with that particular domain. Okay, uh, after that, over here I have to give an IP. Okay, it will check for this domain, and once it is been done, at third step, it will check for an reverse DNS. Okay, so when it does, when I'm saying nmap do a reverse DNS, so what is the, it is looking for an IP address now. In DNS lookup, it is looking for a domain. In reverse DNS, it will look for an IP. It will look out that domain name has been attached. Now to attach domain name, what is the IP address of this particular domain? Nmap also perform your ping request. If my ping request has not been working, I can simply go with an nmap. Okay, by default nmap is running this command and we can block this. If I know that what is the domain of that particular IP is, I can simply block this request because it will consume my time, isn't it? By default, this is a default function of an nmap, working function of an nmap. Okay, so whenever I do nmap scan, it will follow the step and I can block each and every step as well. If I want, I don't want to perform a ping sweep. Already I have the detail. I don't want to go for a DNS lookup. I know what particular domain they have been using. I know what are the IP of that. I can block all this. We'll be looking down the line that too. What are the command for to block this thing? Okay, and yes, it also perform the same working of a ping. At the very step, what I said, it will check whether the host is live or not, and map do that. Ping also do that, but ping only check for an host, particular host is live or not. And what ping do? Ping only send your IPMP packets, ICMP packets. Your ICMP packets can be blocked by your file. Of course, you can simply block this ICMP packet inside your firewall. If my ICMP packets have been blocked, I can craft a new packet. And over there, I can use a tool by the name hping3. Okay, what hping3 does, it will craft a packet, your TCP packet. Okay, now these ICMP packets are in a bigger form, which is not filtered by this firewall. What I am doing over here, I am dividing this packet. I'm simply breaking this packet into a small chunks. Now this firewall will not able to block this small packets. Simply they can bypass the firewall. Along with this, I can send any TCP packet. Okay, so we use a tool by the name of an hping3. If my ping request is long, I can use the hping3 or I can use the nmap as well. Nmap have the same functionality over here. Okay, so once my reverse DNS has been done, it will check for an open port. Okay, and at the very last step, it will run your script engine. It will run your scripts. Okay, how your nmap is working? First, it will run for an ping sweep, then for an it will look for an DNS lookup, then reverse DNS. It will check for an open port. At the very last, it will run your script. Now, let me show you how this thing has been working. Yes. ARP is your address resolution protocol. It always works with your MAC address. So when your ARP request has been throwing on by your by your this router or by your this switches. So what they are saying that whatever IP or whatever system has been connected with me, please send me your MAC address. So they will be resolving that entry over there. So they can communicate further. Okay. Now, can you see? I simply performed an ARP scan. Over here, he has given me the list of it, list of an IP. Okay. Now, this will be my IP of an Windows machine. This will be my broadcast IP. This will be my network IP. And this will be my default gateway from which I am getting an internet. Okay. And from this IP, my message has been broadcasted to all other devices connected in this particular environment. Okay. Now, first, let me check whether my machine, whether by that host is live or not. It's been live. It's been up and running. Okay. Now, Just go with the command followed by the IP address. I guess so. This was my IP 131 at the end. Okay, perfect. Let me hit enter. By default, it will run a scan. Okay, can you see? It has been running a default scan. Along with that, he is giving me the list of it. What are ports are open inside this particular machine? Yes. Now, the default scan which has been run at the back end is your stealth scan -ss. Okay, so in Nmap, we can run any particular protocol. If I want to perform only a stealth scan, only I want to want to communicate with that particular machine. I don't want to establish a communication over here. I'm just establishing a three-way handshake. Okay, now this stealth scan is a default scan of an Nmap. Okay, specifically you can run this command as well. If not, you can go with an Nmap followed by an IP address. Okay, now this is my target. I want to check what particular operating system my target has been using. Okay, for that I can simply go with an which command -o to check what is the operating system running for this target. Can you see? So -o stands for operating system of a target. Okay, and if I want to see what are the services running inside this particular machine, along with the version of that particular service. The public, they will be using a public IP by default. Okay, and there will be also a noise created when they perform this nmap. A lot of noise has been created at the back end. Easily anyone can trap this. Easily anyone can capture all the details. Okay, your security team and your firewall team will give you an alert that someone has been running and some scan. Someone is trying to communicate with me. So what I'm doing, I am simply performing a second step over here. What was my first step of an attack? First step is what? Information gathering. Second step is what? Scanning. So what I am doing, I am simply doing a scanning. When we perform a scan, it creates a noise. And after that, what we do, we try to communicate with that particular machine, with the target. And how we do that? We do it by an enumeration. We communicate with the target, we try to gather more detailed information of the target, and we try to search if there is any vulnerabilities there inside that particular target or not. Okay, now when I'm talking about the stealth scan, this TCP flags, there are by default 6 flags. So when I'm talking about an TCP flags, so packets we are sending over here. Okay, that is your SYN, stands for synchronization. Okay, that is your
ACK stand for acknowledgement. During three-way handshake, what we send? We send this flag. RST stand for reset. And we have an urge. That is your urgent. Now, when I'm talking about the CC flag, 6 flags, so now when I'm talking about a three-way handshake, it is a communication starting. It's a negotiation to start a communication. Okay, so whenever I am establishing a communication, I am connecting with your system. Let's say I want to send an email to your system, or I want to send a message to your system. But before to that, my system will set an, my network will set an communication with you. How it has been done? It has been done through your three-way handshake.
Yes, sir.
This is system A, this is system B. Now, my system will send an synchronized packet. Okay. In response to that, B system will send an synchronized acknowledgement packet. Yes, I am up and running. My system is live. You can establish a communication with me. In response to that, I will send an acknowledgement. Okay, that connection has been established. We can send a message. And during this time, your public key is also been sent. B will be sending his public key to A and A will be sending his public key to B during the establishment of this connection, three-way handshake. Okay, now we have a four-way handshake as well. Okay, now what happening over here? Let's say this is my two system, A and B. Now, what A will be doing? A will be sending a fin packet. Okay, straight away he is closing the connection. Fin is for what? Finish. Okay, in response to that, will B will be replying. He is closing the connection without making any connection. Okay, so machine is saying what? I have shared all the thing. I want to share a connection with you. I want to finish a communication with you. Now B will say, okay, let me check. Okay, if I have received, I want to stop the communication. Now B will be acknowledging it back to check whether the communication has been established or not, whether that particular communication want to close or not. Along with that, B will send an finish packet to close the communication. Okay, in reply to that, A will send an acknowledgement. Okay, so this is your four-way handshake. Now, there is a reset also. In reset, what we do, we close the communication, but what happened in reset, uh, you will be formally closing the connection with reset flag. Okay, but your reset flag will abruptly close the communication without any informing your target. Okay, this is your system A, this is your system B.
A will send and reset flag. In response to that, he won't be giving any reply to it. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about the scan, about an Nmap scan, how the scan has been running at the back end. Okay, and one particular thing has been going on. Now, what I can use this scan Nmap hyphen ST. It stands for TCP full connect. Okay, now what is happening over here at the back end? A is trying to communicate with B. And what he has been saying, he's particularly trying to check now, if I want to check whether there is any port open inside this particular B, so what I will be doing, I will be going with this TCP full connect SAN hyphen ST. A will send it over here. Okay, sending a SYN packet. In reply to that, what B will be sending? SYNAC. Okay, he received a SYN packet. Along with that, he's acknowledging him back. Okay, I received your packet. We can establish a connection. In reply to that, A will be acknowledging back. Now, if my port is open, then only B will respond it back. If I want to check whether the port is open, the system will respond back. If I send a SYN flag, it has been checked by your port 80. If port 80 is open, it will reply back to your SYN. That means my port is open. I can simply perform and can go ahead with step number 3. I can continue my scanning part. I can communicate with this particular port and try to see what is there inside this. Try to check if there any vulnerability inside this port or not. If my port is closed, I won't be getting any reply back. If my port is open straight away, I am getting a reply back. Over here, I'm getting a reply back. Port are open. Okay, so TCP full connect scan. Over here, I'm simply going with a basic scan. That is your handshake, SYN packet, SYN acknowledgement. And this packet, this particular scan will create a lot of noise.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I have one more thing over here. I can go with an half scan. Okay, TCP half scan. That is with hyphen S capital S. We call it as an half or stealth scan. Okay, now over here, what is happening? It's a port inside and this. So now A, what he will be doing, he will be sending an SYN packet in response to that, we will be acknowledging him back with an SYN acknowledgement. Now, A, what he will be doing, he will be sending a reset flag. SYN packet over here. Okay, so now I get an okay. If I got then I stop that person. I am losing the connection straight away. If I get a black signal, that means the port is open. Okay, so we use this scan. which is known as your stealth scan or your TCP half connect scan. Okay, so apart from this, we have something by the name of your FinScan. Hyphen S capital F. We call it as a FinScan. Okay, so in FinScan, what is happening? This is your system A, system B. Now A I'm sending a FinScan. In FinScan, I am sending a fin flag. So if I want to find out whether the port is open, so if the port is open, it will send a fin flag, isn't it? Okay, there will be no reply back. Remember about the four-way handshake we discussed? After fin, there is an acknowledgement. And this nmap is very famous out there. If there is an hacker, if there is a pen tester, this is the command, this is the tool, this is the utility that they have been going with at the very first step. Okay, if I want to perform a manual pen test, I will go with this because with nmap, I can play around a lot of things. I can silently scan that particular whole network. I can collect more and more evidences out of it. Wireshark is your packet capturing tool. So what are packets has been running over here? We can simply see what particular scan has been doing. Let's say what we are talking about over here. FinScan -SF. In FinScan, what has been saying? It is sending a fin packet. So in Wireshark, we can capture all this. We can easily see what particular packet has been going on. Okay, so Wireshark is your packet capturing tool. Okay, so when we are talking about this FinScan, that means it will stop the communication and it is going to send a no reply back from your B. No reply back means your port is open. Now, some of you guys are not replying. That means you are not listening. It doesn't mean that. You are listening to it, but you are confused what to reply, isn't it? Same way goes over here. Okay, so these are the some of the basic scan we can use with an nmap. We can run with an FinScan. We can go with an say this half scan TCP half connect, or we can go with an XMS scan as well. In XMS scan, it will straight away send all the fact. Your fin push and urge in reply to back. He won't get any reply. That means your port is open. Okay, so we can use multiple scan out of it. Okay, so inside our system, there is a predefined scheme. Inside our nmap, there is a list of script present. Okay, now this SC will run all the script. Now, if you want to see what are the scripts inside this, just go with a command locate nmap script. These are your scripts. List of it. Okay, if I want to how many nodes are there, so count by list 606. Okay, if I want to see particularly a script and HTTP, so go and grep command. That means capture, show me only HTTP script. It will filter it out particularly of an HTTP script. When what I was discussing over here, we are talking about the script. So to locate the script inside your system, you can simply go with a command nmap locate nmap script. It will give you the list of script which is predefined inside your system, inside your nmap. Okay, now we can filter out the script as well. Let's say my port 80 is open. I want to run only my HTTP script. So what I can, which particular script I can see? So what I can do, simply go with a command, locate an script, grab only the HTTP script. Okay, so it will be only giving filtering out your HTTP script. Now inside this, we have 606 script. Okay, if I want to run any particular script, so what I will be doing, I will be simply going with a command nmap hyphen sc followed by on which port I want to run the script. So mentioning the port hyphen p80, let's say on port 80 I want to run the script followed by the IP address. Okay, so by default it will run all the script. And if I want to run particularly of an HTTP script, so what I will be doing, I will be mentioning the script over here. Okay, let's say hyphen sc followed by HTTP followed by star. That means it will run all the HTTP script. Okay, along with this, I can create certain scripts as well. What if I want to run all the command at once? I can do that as well. I can go with a still scan. I can go with your this. Particularly, I can call out for import as well. I can go with your service version scan.
Okay.
I can run the script, all the script as well. Okay, so I can customize the scan as well, which particular scan or which particular port I want to run on. Particularly, I want to check for the UDP. For that, I will go with hyphen su. It will run to check what are the UDP ports are open. If I want to block your ping sweep, hyphen pn. I don't want that nmap will ping all the IP in the network. So I can block this particular ping sweep as well. If I want to block your DNS resolution, I don't want nmap to run the DNS resolution. Remember about the working of an nmap, 5 steps? I can block this as well. So for that, I will go with an nmap hyphen n to block the DNS resolution. Okay. By default, nmap is running your 1000 port. Okay. If I want to run my nmap scan into all the port, yes, 1000 is well-known port, and in total we have 655,354. Okay, if I run nmap scan, by default it will be running on your well-known 1000 port. And if I want to run my nmap scan in all the port, I will go with nmap hyphen p hyphen. Okay, so it will run the nmap scan in all 65535 port except port number 0. Okay, if I want to specify any port, I will go with an hyphen p. If I want detailed information about my target, so I will go with hyphen v, that is your verbosity scan. Okay, if I want to ping all the IP in my network, I will go with hyphen sn. It will ping all the IP in the network. Okay, so these are certain scan we can play around with an nmap. Okay, if I want to find out any particularly open port, I can go with hyphen ss followed by hyphen p hyphen followed by your IP address. It will only find out the open port according to your need. Okay, if I want to run all the scan, again, I'm a lazy person. I won't be going with each and every, defining each and every scan. I can go with that as well. Hyphen A. It will run all the scan for me. All the detail scan, followed by hyphen P hyphen. Okay, and followed by the IP address. This is how you will be doing a scanning. And if you want to capture any packet, you can simply do it by an Wireshark. Okay, to open a Wireshark, just go with a command by the name of Wireshark. It will straight away open and go with an Ether0. Inside this, you have to give an IP address in which particular packet, in which particular IP you want to capture the packet. Okay, so over here, you will be defining it. You will be going with it. You will be giving an IP address over here, like IP.addr. Okay, double equals to followed by the IP address. Okay, now if I run any scan, it will capture each and every packet over here. It will show me how what all packets have been going at the backend.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it will simply capture all the packet. This is your packet capturing tool. I can stop it as well. If I want to check, I can simply capture it as well. Wireshark, until unless you won't run any scan, how that Wireshark will capture all those things?
Okay.
You need to run something to capture all the packet. Until and unless that port is not replying me back, how can I capture all those things? Yes, I can see all those details in an Wireshark, but someone needs to be communicated with that port. Then only I can capture it. So whatever data
And
has been transferred, I can see that data as well. Whatever message has been transferred, I can see that message as well through your Wireshark. I can capture each and every packet. If you want to run your exploit, you go with your tool by the name of an Metasploit. So to run a Metasploit, we go with a command msf console. So Metasploit will be helping you to exploit into that particular vulnerability. This is a tool again, it's not an utility. Cool with this?